Hi, my name is Jennifer. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm doing an individual book review of The Definitions by Matt Greene. So I was very kindly sent a review copy by the lovely folks over at Dead Ink Books. Dead Ink are an independent publisher based in Liverpool and I love everything they do. And I was also kindly invited to the book launch last week at Dead Ink's bookshop. So I got to meet Matt Greene and to hear him talk about the inspiration for his novel, which was absolutely fascinating. So I really enjoyed this book. I want to do this individual review because I think a lot of people will like it and I really want to highlight it. So this is sort of dystopian speculative fiction, and in a very easy shorthand way I'm going to say it's like a mix of three specific books. So Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro, The Memory Police by Yoko Ogawa, and I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman. I think if you put those three books in a big vat and stirred it round, you might get The Definitions by Matt Greene. But I do think that this book stands up in its own right. In the definitions, we are following an unnamed narrator who is living in a place called the Centre. So the Centre is this sort of rehabilitation unit for sufferers of this particular virus. And what this virus does is it wipes out your memory. So these people in the Centre, they don't know what their name is, they don't know anything about their family, their background. They have no memory prior to sort of being in the centre. They don't know anything about their own lives or their own identities. And as well, what has happened is there's been this massive data breach. So there is no evidence in the outside world to say who these people are. Like any evidence of their identity has literally just vanished. So we're following our unnamed narrator as they are living in the centre, getting to know the other people living there. They have to attend these classes with the aim of eventually being able to leave the centre and become sort of reintegrated back into society. But the classes are really interesting because they don't all attend the same classes. They are selected to attend different classes depending on something determined by the centre. The book very much looks at the nature of the self and identity and what that means when you have no memories and how you then, I guess, rebuild your identity, particularly when you have very limited resources. So the people living in the centre don't have any contact with the outside world. They just have contact with the staff who teach them the classes, and very limited amounts of media. So, for example, there's a 90s sitcom which they are allowed to watch videotapes of over and over again. And so we see how they can use these very limited resources to sort of come to understand themselves and the world around them. And as we go through, we get these little glimpses of what the outside world might be like, which to our narrator, to the people there, seem pretty mundane, but to the reader, they're really interesting little glimpses of things that might be slightly different in the outside world to what you might expect. The book as well looks at the power of language, which is something that I find endlessly fascinating, and the link between memory and language and the power of language and how it can be used to control and influence people's thoughts and behaviours and people's understanding of wider sort of intangible concepts. And it's as much what is not named as what is named. And it's all stuff that I find so fascinating. It's one of the reasons that 1984 by George Orwell is one of my favourite books. I thought this was a really fascinating little novel. It is quite short, and you can see how I've tabbed it up there. There's a lot going on in there, and there's two things that sort of make me realise that I really love a book. One is when I want to talk about it with other people and hear like their thoughts on it, so please do read it and come talk to me. And the second is when I know, even at the point of finishing it, that I definitely want to reread it. This is one that I definitely do want to reread. Please do let me know if you're interested in picking this up. If you read it, come tell me your thoughts. I thought it was such an interesting book. If you are a regular watcher of my videos, you'll notice that this book come up in a book haul in a few weeks' time. Kind of doing this out of order, because at the time of filming that haul, I hadn't read it, but I wanted to get this review up and out there, and just to really make people aware of this book. And if that sounds like your kind of thing, please do pick it up. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you're well, and I will speak to you again very soon. Bye.